All right, one thing can be said right off the top, and that is this album has a much better album cover than John Anderson's studio record from last year. Even though that record was amazing, yeah, the front cover was pretty atrocious. At least this one has a little bit more of an inflection to that classic 70s Roger Dean artwork. You know, it's not quite Roger Dean, I don't think so. But man, it's worlds of an improvement. So let's dive into this one. Live, Perpetual Change by John Anderson and the band Geeks. So, John Anderson, I don't think we need a whole lot of introduction from him at the point. He was founding member and lead vocalist, singer, songwriter for Yes for years and years and years. Left Yes in the early 2000s, and kind of was just been doing his own thing. He's been chilling. He's been joined now with the band Geeks. And the band Geeks is a brainchild of Richie Castellano, who started off kind of helping out with Blue Oyster Cult, I believe as a bass player on some of the tours there, but then started a podcast of the band Geeks and, just kind of playing covers of a lot of the classic 70s stuff, and then started doing YouTube stuff that eventually, got the attention of John Anderson, and John Anderson was like, hey, you're doing some great stuff with the Yes music. Do you want to help me out with an album? We can start touring and actually do some of this music because, John Anderson, I believe, did Rabin and Wakeman about a decade ago at this point. Again, doing and touring classic Yes tracks. So the world's united, so to speak, creating this great synergy of John Anderson, whose vocals haven't really lost any of the shine that he's had since the 70s. Like, the guy is in his 80s, and yet he's still able to hit those high notes. He's really able to navigate some of these more complex tracks. Where other lead vocals that have such a high range have faltered, have stumbled, I feel like John Anderson is just flourishing, And so here we are kind of in both sides, both John Anderson and the band Geeks, real wheelhouse, which is playing classic Yes tracks. And if I'm being perfectly honest, this is one of the best live albums from Yes that we've gotten in probably about 2 decades. Not since Symphonic Live have I been this excited for live music from Yes. Because at this point, I feel like the live records that we've been getting from Yes have been, at best, serviceable and at worst, torture to listen to. Yes Live at 50, their whole dramatic turn, the topographic drama, they feel tired, for lack of a better term. They feel tired. So with the Symphonic Live, and even from Yes 35th anniversary, the songs from Tasonga, I believe is Tasongas. In my mind, the 35th anniversary tour was kind of the last really good live record that we got from Yes, which is a shame because Yes are outstanding with their live albums. You've got Symphonic Live, as I already mentioned, Keys to Ascension, which I absolutely adore and love, Yes shows and Yes songs. Again, staples of live progressive rock music. Absolute staples. So it really warmed my heart to see these tracks be given basically a breath of fresh life. The song selection is top notch. We're covering basically just the 70s stuff from the Yes album to about, I think the most latest one on this was Going for the One with Awaken. And then a smattering of things in between. Getting a few of the epics with Close to the Edge. I already mentioned Awaken and Gates of Delirium. Delirium. The amount of times people have corrected me on that. Guys, does it really matter? Honestly. And honestly, the rest of the tracks are just the usual suspects, with Yours Is No Disgrace, Perpetual Change, Starship Trooper, all from the Yes album, as well as I've Seen All Good People with Your Move. It's always hard, right? Because if I wanted to have my perfect set list, the album would be 4 or 5 hours long, and nobody wants to sit through that. But I do wish that they were playing maybe a track from Tales of Topographic Ocean, either Ritual or, Revealing Science of God, but I get it, they're long. And I wish that we had a little bit more representation from Fragile, but I mean, we got Roundabout and Heart of the Sunrise, which again, you can't be all that saddened about. I do wish that they played Siberian Cat-True. Like they played all the other tracks from Close to the Edge, which is basically just And You and I and Close to the Edge. But, I was really hoping to have that oomph. Yeah, what else is there to say about this record? It's just a standout A+ live record from Yes. And this is probably the best live album that we have gotten from a Yes member, as I mentioned, since Symphonic Live. And even with Symphonic Live, which had an orchestra to really help flush out the big power that is needed with this album and with these tracks, I felt like even then, 20 years ago, it was still getting a little tired. This is, lots of energy, a big breath of fresh air in this one. And I love some of the choices that are found on here. Starship Trooper, the ending of that with the keyboards and the guitars, stand out, A+, one of the best renditions of Starship Troopers since my favorite iteration, which is the one from Keys to Ascension. I also love In Awakened. Finally, I get a live version where they do not go up the octave on the big, massive crescendo. They play down tune with the big bass line hook that I absolutely adore. And I love cranking this track because I'm like, yes, finally. I do wish that they had a little bit more of the organ power behind it, if I'm nitpicking a little bit. But the bass work that has that big chug of that boom, boom at the final notes, loved it. And I wanted to applaud these boys so much for knowing you go down the octave to get that power bottom going on to then bring up the octave when you reprise it the second time. Yeah, this album is an A+. If you love these tracks, if you love Yes and you love Yes in that live setting, this is a no-brainer. You got to go and check it out. If you haven't checked it out by now, I highly recommend that you do so. My final rating for this will be live. Perpetual Change by John Anderson and the Band Geeks is one that you would absolutely need to pick up in physical format. I've been having a great time with this one. I've been listening to this quite regularly and quite often. I get... What else can I say? It's a live album from Yes, even though it's, the Band Geeks, but check it out. I implore you to check it out. If you're a fan of Yes, if you're a fan of these tracks, you got to give it at least a listen. So yeah, that's what I've got for Perpetual Change by John Anderson and the Band Geeks. What did you guys think about this live record? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Whatever you thought, please let me know by commenting down below. And I think that's where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe. And I hope you guys are being kind to yourselves and one another. And I hope you guys just have a great day. So thank you all so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.